Hello everyone. Today is day 5 of May Lead Code Challenge. Today we have a moderate level dynamic programming question. So let's see what the question is asking us. The name of the question is Jump Game 2. So in the question it's given that we have a non-negative array, nums, and we are initially positioned at the first index of the array, that is we are at 0th index. And each element in the array is representing us the maximum jump length at that position. So basically if you are at this index, what this is telling us is that from this index we can take a maximum jump length of 2. That is, we can either go to this position or we can go to this position. That the maximum length that we can go ahead is of length 2. And the question is asking us that our goal is to reach the last index. So if we are starting at 2 and we have to reach this 4, and while doing so we'll be taking different like there will be different ways of doing the taking the jumps. So we have to return the minimum number of jumps required, and we are also given that we can assume that we always reach the last index. So this is for sure that we are reaching the last index. So let's see the example, and from that you'll be able to understand what the question is wanting us to do. So here this is the array, and we are initially at this position and we have to reach this position. So here the output is given as 2, that we require at least 2 jumps to reach the final index. So let's see how to do that. So because the value at the starting index is 2, we can take a jump of length 1 or a jump of length 2. But it will be wise to take a jump of length 1, because from here we can directly take a jump of length 3 and reach the final index or the final destination. The same is true in this case also. We will take a jump of length 1, we'll reach this 3, and from this we'll take a jump of length 3 and reach this 4. And this is the basic question. So I hope you are able to understand the question. Now let's see the constraints. There is a trick about this constraint also. You can see that the length of the array at max can be 1000. So like the length of this array is 5. So we can have a array of length at max 1000. And if we are at the beginning, that is we are at index 0 and we have to reach index 999. How many steps do we need? At max we will be requiring 999 jumps. Basically what I'm saying is that we will be requiring 1000 minus 1 jumps, and more than that jumps is not possible because we are already given that we can always reach the last index, and in the worst case all the values in the array can be 1. And also we need to take care of one thing, that if we like in case like for from here if I jump length of 2, I reach this thing, I'll be trapped in this forever, because like if you're getting 0 in any of the position of array, you need not go to that cell, because from that you cannot proceed further unless and until the 0 is in the last index or the final destination. And also the values present in the array can be as high as 10 power 5. So basically if you get a number which is as high as 10 power 5, like 10 power 4 or something, and the maximum jumps required was 999, so you can easily go from that cell, you can reach the final destination, but our code will be taking care of it, so no need to worry about that. But there is a thing about this thing, the maximum jumps that is possible in this case is 999. Okay, so let me start coding, and we'll be first doing the recursive approach, and after that we'll be using the memorization technique of dynamic programming to solve it in an optimal way. So let me define the size first. And what I'll be doing is that I'll be returning, and I'm defining my recursive function as help. What I'll be sending to is an array. I'll be sending nums array, and also I'll be sending the starting index. It has been given that we are starting at index 0, so I'm sending as index 0, like I'm sending the value 0. This is telling me at which position I will be when the function will be called. And I'm also passing n, that is the length of the array. By this way we will be always be certain that we have to reach the n minus 1th index as asked in the question. So let's define the recursive function. So int help vector int nums int position, that is the current position we are at, and the length. So what we need to make sure is that I'll be writing the base condition. Like whenever you are solving a recursion, like you're writing a code for recursion, you write the condition for base condition. You also write the condition where the inputs are invalid. Okay. So let me write first when the inputs are invalid. So if position is greater than equal to n, you have already reached the maximum. Like this index is not existing in the array, so this is an invalid input, so I'll be returning max p. Let me define what is max p. So maxb is like basically maxb is standing for max variable, and for max variable I'm giving a very big input. I am not using int max here because there can be a chances of overflowing, integer overflowing. So I am using maxb. So basically, what this statement is telling us that if we are in any of the index that is not possible in the array, then return a very big number. Or in other sense, we are saying that it is kind of impossible because you are like requiring a lot of jumps. And according to the question, we knew that we will be requiring at max 999 jumps. So this cannot be the answer. So now let's write the base condition. So if position equal to n minus 1. If we are already at the required position, like we are already on the last index, then what we do, we return 0, that we don't require any jump. Our condition is done. If it is not the case, what do we do? I find the value at the current position of the array. So this value is telling me the maximum jump length. I am renaming it as maximum jump length. So basically, if you are at a position POS, what what further indexes you can go? You can go to position plus one, position plus two, up to position plus max jump length. So for that, I'll be writing a for loop for int I is equal to 0, I equal to 1, I less than equal to max jump length, the maximum index we can go forward to, and I plus plus. And what I'll be doing is that let me define a variable int answer, and because we are trying to find the minimum number of jumps, I'll be initializing it with maxb, and I'll be taking minimum in every iteration, so that finally I'll be getting the lowest number of jumps required to go from position to n minus 1th index. So what I'll be doing here is that ans equal to minimum of ans, and I'll be adding 1 plus help of nums position plus I and n. So let me explain you what I did here. What I did here is that see, if this function will return me how, like, what is the minimum number of jumps required to go from position plus 1 to n minus 1th index, and to that we will be adding 1 because we took one jump here only from position to position plus ith index. So that is one jump, and for position plus I index to n minus 1th index, I'll be calling this function, this recursive function, and if I'll be just returning the answer. This should do for the recursive part. Then we'll be using the memorization technique. Okay, let me submit. We should get time limit error because the recursive function is a exponential. It has an exponential time complexity. So now let's use the dynamic programming approach. So I'll be defining a DP array, and I'll be initializing it here. I'll be also telling you how to use this, like use the memorization technique. So I'll be okay, fine. I'll be initializing it with -1. So whenever you see a -1, that means that the value hasn't been updated in the DP array, and we need to update it first and then return it. So now let's update this help, this recursive function. So for invalid input, this will be constant in any of the case. Now what we'll be writing is that we'll be saying if I already have a value stored in my DP array and that is not equal to -1, that means it has already been updated, I'll be returning directly the value stored in that position. And for other updations, what you do is that wherever you see a return, you simply write DP position is equal to this. So basically what we are doing is that we are updating the DP position, like the value in the DP array for that given position index, and then we are returning it. So afterwards, whenever this thing will be again called, it will be returned from here and we need not calculate it again. And for here also the same thing. Let's see if it is correct. Basically we have memorized it. What I did was that I defined a DP array. Then I checked if the DP array is already initialized with the required value. I'll be directly returning it. No need to calculate it again and again. And if it hasn't been updated, then during the return statement only, I'm first updating it and then returning it. That's it. So, okay. Now let me submit it and see if it is working or not. Yeah, it got submitted. So this was the main code. And let me take you to the whiteboard to tell how this DP is helping us, this dynamic programming approach. So for example, you have this thing, you have this array. So the first value is 2, then it is 3, then it is 1, and then assume it is a very big array. So what we were doing is that from this 2, we were taking a jump length of either 1 or 2, like we either went here or we went here. Then, for example, we reached this position 3. Then what we were doing is that we were taking a jump length of 1, a jump length of 2, jump length of 3 during the recursive call, and we were seeing how many jumps are required and taking the minimum of them. And if we are at this one, then we'll be going to the next index and doing that. But what you can see is that uh, for this index, we are calculating how many jumps are required. But whenever we are starting at this index also, we are going to this 3 and we are again going back to this 1. So this thing is again being calculated, and that was calculated here also. So basically there is a repetition of this calculation which is unnecessary. We can save it, and that will optimize our code. Basically that is the approach of dynamic programming. And also think it this way. For example, someone told you that from this index there are 50 ways, it will require minimum 50 jumps to go to the n minus 1th index, and from this index it will take you say 67 jumps to reach to the final index, and someone is telling you that you are starting from here. So a wise person, what he will do is that he will go to here, he won't go here, because he know that it's better to take this one jump and then it will take me 50 jumps rather than taking two jump and then it will be taking more 67 jumps. So basically that's how dynamic programming is working. Once we have calculated how many minimum number of jumps are required from any of the indexes, whenever we are reaching that index, we can directly return that we are requiring 50 jumps. So in this case it will be 1 plus 50 jumps if you take one jump length, or else 1 plus 67 jumps and you are taking the minimum of that. So that will give you 51. So basically the minimum number of jumps required is 51 jumps. So I hope you were able to understand the dynamic programming approach. You basically write the code in a recursive manner, then you use this memorization technique and your code should be done. So I hope you were able to understand. If you have any doubt, you can ask in the comment section, and subscribe to my channel. And still then, stay safe, stay healthy, and keep coding.